What's up, everybody? Dan Latrella here with another great episode. Looking forward to have two superstars here from Southport, Ravis. Guys, introduce yourself. Who do I got over here?
Zerella from Ravis and Southport.
Who's the other guy?
Brian Christy. And once again, Ravis and Southport.
So, I just appreciate everyone tuning in today. Again, I want you guys to get to know them and kind of talk about real estate and trends. So I'm going to start with Kenny. Kenny, how long have you been doing real estate for?
Dan, I've been in the business now for about 10 years.
Okay.
But I've been really active for about the past 5.
Okay.
Yep.
Very nice. Any children?
2 kids, married, Erica. We've been 6 years married. My son will be 2 next week, and my daughter will be 4 next week as well.
All right, let the crowd know. What are the names?
My kids' names?
Yeah, 100%.
Lucas and Zoe.
Nice. Is the little one sleeping yet or what?
Out of their minds.
That's how it's supposed to be.
They don't sleep. They drive us crazy, but we love them to death.
What about number 3? We working on 3?
No, good, dude. Good. We're tired. We're old and tired.
That's all right. What about you, Brian? Tell us about yourself, Brian.
Alright, yeah.
Married?
Married, 2 kids, Bryson and Jackson, 10, 20 months. Married 4 years. Kai, my wife, she's awesome.
Yeah.
I've been at Ravis 4 years now. It's my 4th year in real estate.
Okay.
Going on to the 5th, actually.
Nice. And now, how'd you guys hook up, or how'd you guys meet?
So I actually mentored Brian when he first started about 4 or 5 years ago, and he came to the office. He was gung-ho. He had another job previously, and he wanted to go into real estate full-time, and kid took off. He's doing an awesome job, and we teamed up. So it's a pleasure with Brian.
Yeah, so speaking of teaming up now, so I see it's Zerella Christy. How did why not Christy Zerella? Is it because of the schnoz, or well, one move, maybe?
Hey.
There's about 12 million reasons why he first started.
I think it's Kenny knows he introduced me to Brian a couple years ago, and I always used to joke around with Kenny. I thought Brian, for being someone brand new, was just super authentic, great personality, people connected to him, and I used to joke around with Kenny. I thought it'd be awesome for you guys to team up, and I think it's awesome because you guys have like a different dynamic. So kind of either one of you, like, what do you think's like different from your team from others? Like, what makes you guys that Zerella Christy team?
So, you want me to take it?
Yeah.
So the one thing is that we are a smaller team. You know, it's me, Kenny, and 2 other agents, Mercedes and Jamie, who are awesome as well.
Not awesome.
But the thing is, with me and Kenny, is we're very different in certain ways. We're similar in some, but the differences are what help us. For example, you know, I'll call, knock, anything, any door, any person. I don't care if I get yelled at, door slammed in my face, doesn't matter.
Yep.
But once I get in, I need to be calmed down. That's where Kenny comes in and starts building rapport.
Yeah.
And then that's where we establish our relationship. And when we go on, you know, our listing presentations, we have 2 minds now. And, you know, some couple may, you know, just drift towards one of us, or a seller may gravitate towards Kenny more than I. And Kenny takes the lead. And it's just reading the situation, because we want our sellers, our buyers, our clients to feel comfortable. You know, we say, welcome to the family, because we want to treat you like family. Because listen, even in this market as a seller, it can still be crazy selling your house. And it can be difficult, especially if you're finding somewhere to go. So having just people there who are treating you as if you are their family, we're here to take care of you, want you happy. Because if you're happy, we're happy, then everyone's happy, it all works out, and you'll pass along referrals to us, and it continues the pattern. So that's a big thing for us. I think when we're together, it really shows that.
Now, as a team, do you guys sometimes where it may be Kenny's client or yourself, but obviously in this market we're showing so many houses because it's not the easiest to get under contract. Do you sometimes will give one of your clients to maybe Kenny to show a house? And you said you have 2 other girls on your team, so you guys all just kind of work together as a small little family.
Right. So there's a lot of obviously past clients that I've had, and of course I would continue to work with them. Brian would continue to work with his past clients. But the nice part about having a team and being together is we all do work together. If I'm tied up with something, I can easily pass a buyer client over to either Brian or Mercedes, and everything just works out. So we're constantly hands-on. No one feels like, we don't drop the ball with anybody. We're constantly there for our clients. Obviously, a lot of clients, Brian and I team up together for buyers, and the same thing with sellers. Cool. But we still do some things independently as well.
Yeah. Now, both of you guys have been in the business, between the 2 of you, got about 15 years. You've only worked at Ravis.
Only worked at Ravis.
As well as yourself.
Started at Ravis. Very happy there. Bill's been great to us, and it's a great company to work for.
So kind of tell us, I know you must get knocked on the door every day. I'll come work for me. We're the best. What is it about Ravis that you guys really gravitate to, or why? Why Ravis?
Market share is a big thing. There's a lot of reasons why. Obviously, technology. And just that family feel, they really helped, groom me from an agent where I was doing, basically nothing, $4 or $5 million a year to $10 million a year, now to $20+ million a year. So they really, helped me in my business. And like I say, I'm a really big fan of Bill's. Bill's been great to us, you know, Brian and Chris and all that. So we're very happy in general.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback on it too. You know, again, being only the agency I went to so far, and I'm happy here, and I don't plan on leaving. But it's a good feel. People welcome you, and like you said with Bill, like you reach out to Bill Ravis, he gets right back to you. And that's insane. Someone who owns this huge company is just immediately there for you, and like, and we'll give you advice. I'll call you like, hey, what do you? I'm like, hey, Bill, you know, I got this client, but I can't find. He's like, well, try this XYZ. And it's no problem, and he's happy to do that, and that's what's so special. Yeah, because not every brokerage can say that.
No, of course. I mean, he's a multi-millionaire, maybe billionaire, and the fact that he gives you the time of day must really make you feel comfortable.
He sold my grandfather's first house in Trumbull. Like, so he's been around the block. He knows what he's doing. You know, he's done it. He's been there and done that. So it's great to have that always available. You know. Yeah.
Cool. So guys, I always like to ask and try to make this a little bit light and fun as well as educational. So Kenny 10 years, Brian 5 years. Can either one of you or both of you tell me just a great story, success or funny story? Just to, you know, let me know. Tell me something. Give me a good story.
All right, listen. So we obviously all have a ton of stories with, you know, funny clients and crazy clients, et cetera, et cetera. But thinking back to when I first started, again, about 10 years ago, I was completely new to the business. A buddy of mine in the office had asked me to do an open house. So I did an open house for him. You know, you put the suit on. I remember I got cookies from the local bakery. I was all excited to do this open house. I forgot what the price was, maybe $300,000 or $400,000. It was a house in Fairfield. So anyway, I'm at this open house, and the sellers at the time were getting ready to leave, and they said, "Ken, we have a bird in a cage in the corner. Just don't bother the bird. Let the bird be. It's not going to be a big deal." I said, "All right, no problem." So I'm at the open house. An hour goes by. There's nobody coming. I'm starting to eat the cookies. I'm bored. All of a sudden, the bird starts chirping really loud, and the bird is going on, choo, choo, choo. I'm saying, what this freaking bird? The bird's going nuts. This is crazy, right? So I go over to the cage, and I'm like, "Would you just shut up? Would you just shut up?" So that was it. All of a sudden, the bird starts going, "Shut up, shut up," and I swore, and I think I might have told the bird to shut the F up. Yeah. And now the homeowners end up coming home because they forgot something after an hour. So they walk in, and the bird is going, "Shut up, shut the F up," and the bird's going on and on and on. And I'm like sitting there mortified because they obviously knew that I was yelling at the bird. But you had to be there. It was pretty funny. We still talk about that to this day.
So what did the client say? Did you tell them that maybe you were calling your wife?
The bird and I, we got acquainted, and that's what happened.
All right. Did you end up selling the house?
No. The house did not sell at the open house. I think one person came. Again, this was 10 years ago, different market. Completely different market, obviously, but it was funny. I was kind of embarrassed, but it is what it is.
Okay.
It was funny.
What about you over there?
Same house worth $5 million.
Yeah, that same house is worth $10 million.
Okay. What about you? Give me a good story, a success story, something.
So, I'll give you a story. So I was doing showings with a client of mine, and I love them. They're great people, but everyone has their own thing. And we walked through a few houses, and we would always go up in the attic, and I would look, and they would go up and look, and come out and be like yes or no immediately after the attic. And I was like, all right, no problem. This is a Zillow lead, by the way.
Red room.
But keep going. So we look, and finally, like, guys, like, what is it with the attics? Like, I don't mind looking, but like, it's like very important that we just attic, right? And I'm like, maybe roofs, whatever. Yeah. And she told me she communicates with ghosts, and so they tell her whether or not the house is for them.
So the ghosts just hang out in the attic.
Yeah, and she just chats. No, that's where they are always. And she chats with them, and eventually we found a house where either there were none or they were friendly enough and they bought it. But that was and again, great people, but that was the amusing story to me.
I just think if I was a ghost, I want to be hanging out in the attic. But so let's talk about this crazy market. So you guys do a lot of business between the two of you, super successful. Tell us anything or a great story or kind of what you guys are doing right now that's different from others or any tips.
Don't tell them, guy. Don't tell them.
Just anything. I want people to understand how successful you guys are. I want people to understand what you're doing or what maybe you're doing differently or maybe you got someone under contract and why did you get them under contract or maybe somebody else wouldn't have. I know there's a lot of questions in one.
Yeah. I don't know. That's like 38 questions.
I think it comes down to you just got to be willing to hustle harder than the others and do what a lot of people just aren't willing to consistently do. Okay. It's just consistency. There's no rhyme. There's no magic potion. It's, make your calls, make your emails, do what you got to do and follow up and keep following up. And that's the key. And it's just a matter of, again, who you know, who you make contact points with, and just realize that, regardless of if you talk to them now and they're not ready, maybe in 2 years they are. So keep on that and keep making the communications and finding out what motivates the client and to why they want to make this happen, not just another number in your head.
Gotcha.
You know,
Yeah, keep in touch with your sphere of influence, keep in touch with your past clients. Just to piggyback off what you're saying, I mean, we are doing some things differently, but also a lot of realtors are doing a lot of the same thing. A lot of us are chasing listings because there's no inventory.
Yep.
A lot of us are door knocking, you know, we're making those calls, we're chasing expireds, but it's, you know, like you said, you have to just follow up with people, and you hope to get those referrals and people that you used in the past to give you a call back.
Cool.
So that's what it is.
No, I mean, it's a tough market, and so I hear a lot. I saw a statistic I was telling you guys before you got in here today, that everyone thinks the market's going to collapse, the foreclosures are going to go up. Have you guys seen that statistic, how low the foreclosures are right now compared to where they were?
it's nuts. It's not even close.
Yeah. So why do you guys, any idea what you think the market's going to do, or what your just opinion and what's coming out and what's going to happen maybe?
Yeah, I mean, listen, no one has a crystal ball. No one could foresee the future, but this market's going to be strong at least for the next year and a half. I mean, you have a listing, you have 20 showings, 30 showings, you have 10 offers. Where are all those other 9 people going, right?
Yep.
Or, you know, as many offers as you're getting. So it's really competitive out there, and I don't see things slowing down. I really don't see prices coming down either over the next year and a half. In fact, I see them, if not stabilizing, maybe even, you know, with the interest rates maybe going up. Maybe you could elaborate on that a little bit. But I really see prices staying where they are, or maybe even increasing with the lack of inventory.
I can't
Supply and
imagine.
demand,
I can't imagine we'll see a downshift in prices drastically.
No.
Maybe 1 or 2% as things level out, or again, maybe in 10, 15 years, again, the market shifts, etc. But in the foreseeable future, I mean, every single financial institution is predicting prices are going to go up still.
Right.
Like, I haven't seen one that says no.
Right.
And until we do, we had a record low inventory in December.
I know,
Like
in the country.
Yeah,
in the country.
Yeah, 0.99 months of supply in the market.
Yeah.
I mean, a balanced market's 5-6 months. So that's pretty crazy.
I got a question. You know, obviously I'm in the mortgage business. You guys are in real estate. I get people, I'm going to wait 12 more months. I'm going to wait 16 more months. I'm going to steal a house. Like, in your guys' opinion, right? Let's pretend I wanted to sell my house, and I'm telling you guys, I want to wait 16 more months because the market's going to drop 30%. What would you tell someone like myself?
Again, no one has a crystal ball. We thought prices were at an all-time high during COVID, and we were wrong. Because prices are obviously higher now. So, you know, if the numbers make sense for that particular buyer, if, you know, the interest rates are still low, make the deal. Don't rent now. Rents are obviously at an all-time high as well. Buy. Buy now. Don't wait, because we don't have, you know, if you're going to buy for a year or two, that's your game plan, then maybe you want to wait it out or just continue to rent. But if you have a 5 or 10-year game plan, definitely purchase, and we'll see what happens in the future. At the end of the day, right?
And, you know, being a seller too, you know, thinking, should I wait? Should I buy now? And, you know, the only risk you're going to obviously come to is if more inventory starts coming on, you may still be in a seller's market, but it may not be a 10 offer seller's market.
It may be 3.
It may be 1, 2, 3 exactly. It may be a little more balanced, and you may not be able to get that crazy price point you wanted, but it's still going to be strong. So again, it's really making sure that it's just timeline. If the timeline works for you now, you can sell now. Sell your home. Like, absolutely.
If you have an investment property that you can go into and live into, you know, definitely sell your home.
Absolutely.
It's the right time.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think hopefully with the masks, a lot of people are starting to remove the mask. I think a lot more people, I don't know, just my opinion, maybe more comfortable to list their home. And everything I read is saying it's going to be a crazy market coming up in the next couple months, and it's going to be back to normal business. But obviously, you know, rates are up a little bit. The market's going to go up. We'll see, but no, I think it's a great market, and I'm just looking for, you know, you guys to give some advice to people out there. I think it's great that you're telling people to sell their home. So I asked this question last week to an agent, right? So you guys probably get this, all realtors get it. Hey, I want to buy a house. When my dream house comes on the market tomorrow, you're then going to list my house. So my question to you guys, what would you say to that person?
Do they need to sell?
They need to sell. They do need to sell to buy.
You should be under contract first. Like not under contract, continue to show. I mean,
under contract inspections are done, right? Appraisal hopefully done.
So,
yeah, like you're ready to close in a month.
So my question is, right? So I talk to people like you guys every day, and my borrower's biggest fear is, well, if I sell my house and I have nowhere to go, is there anything we can do? Now, what would we do in that case? So I have a borrower, right? You guys tell them list their house. They sell their house in 3 days, which isn't hard in this market. Now they're so afraid they have to be out of the house in 30 days. Is there things we could have wrote in the contract or listing to protect them so they have nowhere to live?
Well, a couple of things that we've been doing obviously is contingent upon sellers to find suitable housing, which obviously a lot of people are doing now. Another thing is we're doing a lease back. You do have to be careful because obviously when the buyer purchases the home, you could elaborate that. The mortgage company doesn't love to see that on the contract because I think if they're buying it as a
they're supposed to occupy it within
60
days, give or take.
But we've done that before, so if you can push the closing out 90 days and then give them another 60, you know, that's
usually it's sufficiently 5 months. You can, if someone's serious about buying a house, 5 months you can usually give them a house.
And the buyers will wait. A lot of these buyers,
a lot
of these buyers are willing to wait because there's not a lot of inventory. So those buyers will figure it out for those 2, 3, 4 months. You know, in the interim.
And they can lock a rate now too before they continue to go up. And they can pay the extension fee, so be it, but they're not losing, you know, a couple points or whatever percent.
We've helped a lot of people in that position.
Now, what about so some agents are for it, some are against it. Let's pretend I gave you guys my listing tomorrow, right? And I say I heard about this suitable housing clause. A lot of agents I talk to say, well, that's dumb. I'm not listing my client's house. If they're going to list it with the suitable clause, people won't buy that house. So kind of what you guys just told me, people are willing to wait 5 months. So why wouldn't someone not want to put an offer? It just says you have to find suitable housing. Let's just pretend in 60 days.
Yeah.
I think it just comes down to educating the client and just letting them know what the market's like and just more or less educating them on that because a lot of people will wait. From my experience, the past couple of years with the business being crazy, people will wait, and if not, somebody else will.
I think it's as an agent, you gotta be confident you can find them a house.
Yeah.
Like if you're not confident, you may say to them, no. But if you know you can do it, and we do it nonstop, it can be done. Your seller has to understand it's going to be crazy, it's going to be scary, but we always tell them, you know, don't panic till we tell you to.
Okay.
And then when we tell them
to panic, it's because it's on fire. You better panic.
And then listen, there's people that have lived in mom and dad's basement for a little while. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, listen, clients again, and to that point, you have to understand what you're signing yourself up for. If you're going to capitalize on this market, you may be uncomfortable for 1 or 2 months. In a short-term rental, in a friend's basement, and again, if that's completely not feasible, then you have a hard deadline, and we got to get it done. And like I said, we've gotten it done, and that can be getting creative and finding homes for your clients.
Yeah, I know it's not. It's not easy. The hardest part is when you show a client 25 houses, you put on 13, 14 offers, and they don't get it. And just like I tell clients, if you're not uncomfortable, you're never going to be comfortable, right? Because it's hard as you try to make everything perfect. It's not easy.
No, you got to aim to get, in this market, 80% of what you want. Usually we tell people 90% of the house you want.
Yeah.
In this market, if you're getting 80, 85, and you love about the house, there's 15% of things like, oh, I got to redo that bathroom, or, I got to put a deck on it.
Yeah, it doesn't check off all the boxes, but it checks off most. I mean,
you got to pull the trigger now. Otherwise, you're that same house in a year is going to be 100,000 more. Look what happened. Yeah, I mean, I've seen it. We've all seen it happen.
So now, a question for you guys too. These are all great responses, and my whole thing is I'm trying to educate the public as much as I can because there's so many buyers that are so scared because of different reasons. Is there any other tips or anything you can tell anybody that's on the fence or considering it or scared, like just anything like you could tell them? Because again, the more education I feel that we give people, the more they get to know you guys, potentially the more you may be able to get more business or they'll come to you guys. So any tips, anything, just what else would you tell a borrower? What else would you try to get someone on the fence about potentially selling now instead of waiting or anything else?
I think as far as the buyers go, you're risking, again, the rate increases, and you're also risking price continue to go up. So they have to be comfortable with the fact that most of the time your inspections will be for information only. You're not going to get closing credits. You may need to cover a bit of an appraisal gap. Maybe 1-2% of the purchase price sometimes, depending what it is. And you need to understand, and based on the numbers, we could expect maybe another 10%, 8%, 7% this year. I mean, the low end's 4%. So that being said, even if you're spending a little more than you wanted to now, you may even have a little more equity at the end of this year if you go into it. Now, as a seller, the main thing here is the inventory is insanely low. I mean, where I live in Monroe, we were under 1 last month. Like, that's bonkers. So again, regardless of maybe a 2-3% increase, if you put it on now in a market that's on fire, you may see a 6% what you should be seeing. So as a seller, especially if it's a secondary property, which we've started to come in contact with a lot of investors who are like, hey, you know what? We got to unload a property because it's just the right time. That's when you're really going to make a killing. But also, I have clients who are just, they have a place down south they bought, or they're going down south and they just want to get rid of their, and I get it. And it's a great time for them.
So you guys are saying a lot of people that have investment properties right now that say they bought it 5 years, 10 years.
I think,
in your opinion, go ahead.
I think 25% of single family homes are investment owned right now. I think that was a stat I heard yesterday.
So my question to you guys, right? Let's say I bought an investment property 10 years ago. I'm like, oh guys, I want to save it for the future, my kids, my this. My question to you guys, right? The market is crazy. if someone waited, I'm going to wait 5 more years, I'm going to wait 3 more years, I'm going to wait whatever. In my opinion, I tell anyone that has an investment property, I think it's time to sell right now. Sell when it's super high, you can always buy some in the future.
You tell me all the
Yeah.
So I try to, well, it depends. I agree with you, but I think it really depends what the rate of return is on that investment and what you're
Well,
getting.
depending on when they bought it.
Correct.
and what you're using it for.
Right, exactly.
You know, so
Right.
for an investment property, if you're using it as a loss, it can help offset your taxes.
Yeah.
So, or again, if it's a positive cash flow that's paying your car lease,
Yeah.
maybe you leave it alone.
Yeah.
And historically, we've seen on average over the nation, every 10 years, people have made money on their houses.
Mhm.
Now, don't get me wrong, there's a case here and there, especially in 06, 07, where in 10 years they probably didn't get it back. But
Yep.
again, as a whole, on average,
Yep.
every 10 years, real estate's equity is going up.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, like you said, if you want to hold on to it longer, there is some risk because something else could come along that wipes out the market and changes it back to a buyer. Who knows?
But as
You
you know,
know-
to piggyback over what you're talking about before, as far as foreclosures go, I mean, and talking about maybe seeing foreclosures in the future, and people are going to wait to find the right home to basically take their time to see when the market drops. I'm experiencing most of these buyers that I'm dealing with, and I when I started my career, I was dealing with a lot of first-time home buyers, FHA deals, 3 or 3.5% down. You know, unfortunately, most of the deals that I'm seeing on the list side. So when I have a listing, when the offers come in, I mean, a lot of these are 15, 20, 25% down. You're seeing cash buyers. So they have a ton of equity in the home already.
Yep.
So that's if people are waiting for those foreclosures to kind of come around, it could be a long time.
Exactly. 'Cause even if it's a 10% drop
Right.
in value, they still have equity.
Yeah.
And that's what
That's
I
exactly
think is
right.
what people are missing.
Yep.
You know, it was kind of like, again, the forbearance stats too. People thought that was going to go. I think it's like almost everyone but 30% of people are already done with forbearance or completely paid off or on their way to, and only 30% are still paying it or slightly below. Whatever the point was, it wasn't nearly what people were expecting.
Gotcha.
And again, with these equities down, I don't think you're going to see those foreclosures like the stats.
No,
say.
I don't think so. I think a lot of people are locked in at good rates. They have a ton of equity. Most people, it's not back in, when I got in the business, back in 07 when rates were 9%, 11% second, 40-year mortgages that the rate goes up 3% 2 years later. So I think things are a lot different. So I got a question for you guys. You guys are 2 realtors, and I love you guys and I hate you guys at the same time. So
Why do you hate realtors, Dan?
no, I don't hate realtors. I'm saying, so question for you guys. So I always hear when there's a VA, an FHA buyer, it's always like, you guys always say that like FHA or VA is the devil right now. So I'm gonna take this conventional offer. Let's pretend I have an FHA buyer, right, guys? House listed for $300,000. We all know it's worth. You can probably appraise for $330,000. I have a conventional offer at $310,000, 5% down. Screw it. Let's say 20% down. My buyer comes in at $330,000, 3.5% down.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me your thoughts, because I always hear about FHA, USDA, VA are the devil.
Well,
Tell us about it.
You
I want to know because people ask every day.
So first of all, a big thing about that obviously you talk to your seller, you see what they want to do. You're going to educate them. Obviously, going back to my roots when I first started, I sold a lot of homes at 3.5% down. I mean, probably 90% of my business were FHA buyers. So at the end of the day, that deal can come to fruition. You also see, who's the mortgage lender. It's, someone like Dan. He paid me to say this, by the way. He did not. I'm just kidding, joking. But if it's a reputable agent, of course.
I hate him in socks. Don't worry about it.
You follow up. You follow up with the lender. I mean, at the end of the day, if a seller may not want to leave $20,000 on the table.
100%.
If they can get $330,000 as opposed to $310,000, why leave $20,000 on the table if you can close that deal? There are tactics that you would like to see on an offer that's FHA. For example, maybe it's tough to tell them to do this, but maybe their deposit, they basically waive their deposit altogether.
Okay. Yep.
So they put their offer in, even if they walk away after the building inspection, maybe their 1% or 2% is basically, it goes hard, right?
Yeah.
And they can give it up.
Yep.
It's tough to tell people to do that, but that's something that, these are serious buyers. Like Brian said earlier, maybe you might not be able to do an appraisal gap because they may not have the money, but maybe you do building inspection for informational purposes only. If the house is intact, and there's definitely different tactics to do.
That's when too, compliment what you're saying is if the buyer can be flexible with closing.
Maybe
maybe the sellers want a 120-day close, and that other offer is like, no, 60 hard.
Right.
And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, we'll do it again. And if you're going that much more, that's a tough example because if it was a 330 FHA and a 325, 20% down,
that's a totally different story.
But when you're at a massive gap, You have to, again, we have to factor in. Maybe, okay, make sure this house isn't overvalued right now with this offer, because we're gonna have an appraisal, we don't have money to spare with it. Make sure there's no, peeling paint or little things like that that'll hurt an FHA, because sellers aren't gonna address them.
Yeah, the reason why I ask is I deal with agents every day, some I know, some I don't, and the minute they see the word FHA, they're calling me, and they're like, FHA is the worst, and I try to explain to the listing agent a couple things. Is there noticeable peel and paint, right? So sometimes it's so small where you could do it in 5 minutes. I know it's a pain in the butt, but if you're making 10 extra grand, it's worth it.
I had a seller paint his Belco door.
Yeah.
And he had no problem doing it. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with FHA at all.
Yeah.
I think it's just you're competing with really strong
100%.
offers.
Right.
So like one of the things that we're doing right now, guys, and you tell me your thoughts as realtors, right? So we're taking our FHA buyers, we're literally submitting them to underwriting. We get approval. We literally collect all the conditions up front. So when we submit the offer, I text video the listing agent, let them know we're clear to close except for the appraisal and title. Now, does that entice you guys at all? As a listing agent, if you got a text video from your mortgage guy, literally tell them we're clear to close except for appraisal and title if you accept my offer over the 20% down, Quicken Loans guy or New York lender.
It's impressive if you ask me.
I'm going to ask you, it's definitely going to change the game for FHA buyers, without a doubt. Because
That's
it's almost as good as a no conditions at that point.
Okay.
And that means they're essentially, with the inspection, though, they're going to have to be waiving it or doing information
100%.
only.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get, like I said, I get buyers every day.
You're doing something to get yourself in the game.
Yep.
So it's better. That's a strong move.
There's just a lot of people out there, obviously, like you said, when you first got in, right, everyone deserves a home, everyone deserves a shop. I'm just trying to give those borrowers that don't have a lot of money, what can we do to them? Because every time I talk to a borrower, the realtors call me, oh, this buyer, they're really nice, but they're never going to accept an offer. And it's like, you're so negative with them already. There's some people, that's all they can do sometimes. So I'm just trying to give them an option.
Exactly. You gotta keep putting it in for them. You gotta keep trying.
So as two agents,
I have a lot of buyers. We have a lot of buyers that are 3.5% down. So we're busting our butt to try to find them something. And we will.
And you just keep grinding. And you keep trying to find them something.
Yeah. So now, real quick, guys. I mean, I know we've done a lot of talking. So let's just pretend someone wants to reach either one of you guys. Do you guys have like a website, or could they just Google you? How does someone reach
me
you?
A Telegram, because I'm old school.
Yeah. So you can Google Zerella Christy team. You can go Zerella Christy .ravis.com. You can text, call 203-455-1223. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. We're everywhere. Just if you search us, you'll find us.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I want people to be able. That's the whole point of doing this video. I want them to know you guys. I want them to realize who you are, what you do. Just so you could, just better mix with somebody. And this has been definitely awesome, and you guys have done, I think, a great job. And thanks for bringing the energy today. And
it's nice setup, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
It was a blast. Thank you, guys.
Greatly appreciate it. Thanks
no worries. And guys, if there's ever any questions, you can always reach out to me, and I can send it over to Brian and Kenny. But guys, keep up the great work. It was definitely awesome having you guys, and
thanks for
we'll go from there, guys. So everyone enjoy. Thank you for the time, guys, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks,
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Turn that off. I know it's gonna get over. Whatever.
Make sure you hit that M button. Don't keep that thing on all day.
Bye, everybody.